trillion naira by the end of December 2019.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offense. The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor Ibikunle Amosu.
You're welcome to Celebration Television News Desk. I am HOSTEL Nicholas Walter. Here are the news making the headlines. PSC says federal government in talks with UK and others over restriction. Northern Cameroon bears brunt of inter-ethnic clashes. Prime Minister faces big rebellion as Member of Parliament votes on new restrictions. An MPC to halt rising cooking gas price increases supplies. PSG to face Real Madrid in Champions League last 16 after draw fears. To stay with us as we bring you details of the news after this short break. Welcome back and thanks for joining us once more. Now the news in details. The Presidential Committee on COVID-19 said the federal government was working with relevant ministries to address the restriction imposed by some countries on travelers from Nigeria as a result of the Omicron variant. The committee said every country has the right to come up with measures to protect its citizens, adding that Nigeria has similar rights. Committee Chairman Boss Mustafa disclosed these at a briefing in Abuja, and Mustafa said the PSC is working with mandate ministries to address the issues surrounding the restriction imposed by some countries on travelers from Nigeria on account of the Omicron variant. On the Nigeria-United Arab Emirates issue, Mustafa said the federal government acted according to established protocols. He said the PSC also evaluated the developments on the relationship between Nigeria and the UAE, and they are pleased to say that the position of the federal government is in line with the established ICAO protocols and the spirit of the BASA signed with the UAE. Moving forward quickly, strike will be indefinite, won't end until all agreements are fulfilled, says ASU. The Academic Staff Union of University of Owerri Zone has threatened a total shutdown with the federal government over the non-implementation of the 2009 agreements. The union said during a press conference at the Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, that it would embark on an indefinite strike as the magnanimity of ASU that resulted in various MOUs and MOAs arising from the 2009 agreement has been spoiled by the federal government. Leaders of the union from Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka Federal University of Technology Owerri, Imo State University, Owerri, Chukwemeka Odumegu Ojukwu University, Igbariam, and Michael Okpara University of Agriculture, Umudike, were in attendance. Addressing journalists, the ASU Zonal Coordinator, Mr. Uzo Oyebinama, explained that some lecturers are being owed as much as 10 months' salaries. Also, ASU Benin Zone has said the impending strike by the nation's university lecturers is a last resort to draw government attention to their plights and not to derail academic activities. In another development, NYSC makes vaccination compulsory for prospective couples in 2022. The National Youth Service Corps said it would not let down its guard on strict adherence to COVID-19 safety preventions. This is coming as cases of a new COVID-19 variant Omicron has been reported. A statement by NYSC Deputy Director of Press and Public Relations, Emeka Mbemena, said the NYSC Director General, Brigadier General Shuaibu Ibrahim, disclosed this in his national or nationwide visual address to the 2021 Batch Stream 2 core members and camp officials. He said from the next orientation exercise in 2022, all incoming PCMs will show evidence of vaccination before they would be allowed into the camp for registration. Ibrahim advised the core members that would complete the orientation course today to acquire skills that will make them business owners. He said the NYSC have partnered several institutions like the Central Bank of Nigeria, Access Bank, Bank of Industry, NYSC Foundation, Heritage Bank, and others to provide soft loans to core members with good business proposals. Ibrahim also warned them to avoid embarking on night and unauthorized journeys. Coming quickly from around Africa, Libyans in Tripoli, Benghazi express hope and worry over upcoming vote. With only days to go until scheduled elections meant to cap Libya's long political transition and unify the war-torn country, many instead fear a return to violence. Standing near the port in the capital Tripoli, Khaled al-Tuki said he has little optimism about the December 24th vote. And since longtime dictator Muammar Gaddafi was toppled and killed in a 2011 revolt, the North African country has endured a decade of war, leaving bitter decisions and impoverishing the population despite Libya's oil wealth. But before any government can fix their economic situation, it will need to bring security, and said Adam bin Fayed, who works with Turkey at an international organization in Tripoli. The elections, part of United Nations-led process since a landmark East-West ceasefire last year, have been overshadowed by political maneuvering and a lack of an agreed legal framework. They come after years of fighting that has displaced tens of thousands of Libyans. Many exiles from the Gaddafi era who had returned to take part in the country's democratic transition have since left again. And still coming from around Africa, northern Cameroon bears brunt of inter-ethnic clashes. Cameroonians continue to leave the northern town of Kuseri to seek refuge in neighboring Chad following inter-community clashes which, according to the Office of the High Commissioner for Refugees, left 22 people dead and around 30 injured. Clashes between herdsmen and fishermen who disagree over the management and the use of water broke out on the 5th of December in Kuseri, leading to the departure of over 30,000 people to Chad. Since last Thursday, soldiers have been deployed in the streets of Kuseri to avoid further clashes, but tension is still high in the street, especially at the food and livestock market, which was set on fire during the battles between the Mosgum local community, composed of fishermen and the Chow Arabs, and have been herdsmen for thousands of years. The governor of the far north region went on the ground to try to calm tensions before visiting the injured in the Kuseri hospitals. According to medical sources, these people are injured from traditional firearms, arrows, and some were stabbed with knives. More than 20,000 Cameroonians had taken refuge in Chad and 8,500 had not yet returned, according to the UNHCR, when new clashes broke out. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll bring you updates from the United Kingdom. Do well to stay with us. I'll be back.
Have you been searching for an appropriate platform to advertise and promote your product and services? Are you a minister of the gospel and you want your message to spread across the globe? Stop the search. We've got the coverage to give your voice and ministry the amplification you require. To get a rewarding and cost-effective solution to that business idea of yours, Celebration TV is here to take your dream to the climax. We provide the following services: voiceover production, documentary packages, video production of your event, video editing, script writing, affordable live broadcast of your events, and more. For more information, please contact us on +234 703 341 3637 or +234 816 234 8181. You can also reach us via our social media platform: Facebook Celebration TV, Instagram My Celebration TV, Twitter us at My Celebration TV, YouTube Celebration TV. You can send us a mail at celebrationtelevision@gmail.com.
Welcome back and many thanks for staying with us. Now, updates from UK. Prime Minister faces big rebellion as Member of Parliament votes on new restrictions. Member of Parliament will vote on new COVID rules for England later, with around 70 Conservatives expected to rebel against Boris Johnson, and the Prime Minister has defended his plans as a proportionate response to rising cases of the Omicron variant. However, his proposal to make COVID passes a requirement of entering large venues such as nightclubs has angered many of his own Member of Parliament, and measures are still likely to pass as Labour says it will support them. If 70 Conservative Member of Parliament voted against the government, it would amount to the largest rebellion Mr. Johnson will have faced during his time in office. Health Secretary said Sajid Javid told Member of Parliament the Omicron variant now represented 20% of cases in England and was expected to become the dominant variant in London within 48 hours. He said the UK Health Security Agency has estimated the current number of daily infections was around 200,000, and he warned that hospitalizations and deaths would dramatically increase in the next few days and weeks. The UK reported 54,661 confirmed cases of all COVID variants on Monday and 38 deaths. The most recent figure shows 7,373 people in hospital COVID across the country. More updates coming from Canada. Canada offers up to $40 billion to compensate Indigenous children. Canada has pledged up to $31 billion in compensation for Indigenous children and families who suffered discriminations while in foster care. In September, a top court upheld a 2016 ruling that the government underfunded First Nation services compared with those for non-Indigenous children. It ordered $31.350 billion, $31,350 payouts to each child who was in the unreserved welfare system after 2006. The government initially said it would appeal the verdict, but it has come under intense public scrutiny after the discovery of over 1,100 unmarked graves at the site of former residential schools. Until as recently as 1996, Canada's residential school system separated Indigenous children from their families and sent them to boarding schools where many were malnourished, beaten, and sexually abused. The school system was part of attempts to assimilate Indigenous children, forcing them to abandon their native languages and convert to Christianity. Quickly, we'll go straight to business news. NNPC to halt rising cooking gas price and increases supplies. The Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Mele Kyari, announced that NNPC was currently increasing supply of liquefied petroleum gas, popularly called cooking gas, in a bid to force down its price. Kyari, who announced this at the inauguration of a 120 metric tons LPG storage and bottling plant by Emadeb Energy Services Limited in Abuja, however, explained that the hike in cooking gas price was an international issue. The cost of LPG has been rising since this year, jumping by more than 240% between January and October 2021. A development that has forced many LPG users to shift to charcoal or firewood. Commenting on the hike in LPG price while speaking to journalists on the sidelines of the event in Abuja, Kyari said two things are in play. One is the supply and international market of gas. It moves with the price of every other petroleum product, including crude oil and its derivatives. The Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer, Emadeb Energy Services, Mr. Adebowale Olujini, urged the government to support LPG investors considering the cost required to invest in the sector. Still on business news, 5G spectrum license auction kicks off at $199.37 million. The Nigerian Communications Commission has begun the auction for the two slots of 3.5 gigahertz spectrum available for the deployment of fifth-generation network known as 5G in the country. The auction is presently ongoing in Abuja. Earlier, the Commission had announced a free telecoms company have qualified as approved bidders of the auction. MTN Nigerian PLC, Mafab Communications Limited, and the Airtel Networks Limited are currently bidding for the spectrum, and the first round began at $199.37 million as against the reserve price of $197.4 million. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll bring you sport news. Stay with us as we'll bring it to you. Brentford versus Man United postponed after COVID-19 outbreak. Don't go anywhere. We're back with a story.
Have you been searching for an appropriate platform to advertise and promote your product and services? Are you a minister of the gospel and you want your message to spread across the globe? Stop the search. We've got the coverage to give your voice and ministry the amplification you require. To get a rewarding and cost-effective solution to that business idea of yours, Celebration TV is here to take your dream to the climax. We provide the following services: voiceover production, documentary packages, video production of your event, video editing, script writing, affordable live broadcast of your events, and more. For more information, please contact us on +234 703 341 3637 or +234 816 234 8181. You can also reach us via our social media platform: Facebook Celebration TV, Instagram My Celebration TV, Twitter us at My Celebration TV, YouTube Celebration TV. You can send us a mail at celebrationtelevision@gmail.com.
Welcome to Sports News, and on Sports News, Manchester United English Premier League match at Brentford was postponed today after a COVID-19 outbreak closed the Old Trafford club's training facility. And the Premier League took the decision to postpone based on guidance from medical advisors, said in a Manchester United statement issued late Monday. The decision comes after United became the latest top-flight team to be hit by coronavirus outbreak, which actually forced the closure of their Carrington training complex. And the Premier League reported 42 new COVID-19 cases on Monday, a record since testing figures started being released in May 2020. Ralph Rangnick's squad had not traveled to London. Aston Villa and Brighton also revealed positive tests on Monday as the virus threatened to wreak havoc on the midweek fixtures list, with the Omicron variant sweeping across Britain, forcing the government to reintroduce stricter COVID protocols. United outbreak comes against a backdrop of growing virus issues at Premier League clubs. Now, another sports news quickly: PSG to face Real Madrid in Champions League last 16 after draw fears. Paris Saint-Germain will play Real Madrid while Liverpool take on Inter Milan in two of the standout ties in the last 16 of the Champions League after an embarrassed UEFA was forced to redo Monday's draw following a technical problem. PSG had initially been paired together with Manchester United, but the reworked draw sees them play Real, while the Old Trafford side will face Spanish champions Atletico Madrid. UEFA had earlier blamed the material error due to a technical problem with the software of an external service provider, as it announced that the draw for the first knockout round of its flagship competition would have to be redone. And the record 13-time European champions Real are unlikely to be happy with the new draw, as they had initially been paired with Benfica in the very first tie before the problems occurred. A clash with the PSG of Lionel Messi, Neymar and Kylian Mbappe is on paper a far tougher tie. Liverpool face a similar situation, having initially been actually drawn against knockout phase debutant Red Bull Salzburg of Austria. They now face three-time former winners Inter and the Serie A champions and current Italian league leaders. Salzburg instead got Bayern Munich, while Manchester City took on Sporting Lisbon, and Benfica will play Ajax. Villarreal faced Juventus, while the one tie in the original Bosch draw that was repeated later sees reigning champions Chelsea face French title holders Lille. And the first leg will be played in the second half of February, with second leg in early March. This season's Champions League final will be played in the Russian city of St. Petersburg on the 28th of May. That has brought us to the end of the news on Celebration Television News Desk. And in case you missed out, here's the news making the round, the headlines. PSC says federal government in talks with UK and others over restriction. Northern Cameroon bears brunt of inter-ethnic clashes. Prime Minister faces big rebellion as Member of Parliament votes on new restriction. NMPC to halt rising cooking gas price, increases supplies. PSG to face Real Madrid in Champions League last 16 after draw fares. Quickly, we have photo of the day. Photo of the day, you see somebody who's actually looking at the nature of life, you know, and the other one sitting and looking back, not even concentrating at all. What does that depict? How you see the world depends on how you look. You see, the other person has his own perspective, so he was focused. In other words, the way you see the world that you're in, that's what becomes. So if you can drop your comment on our social media platforms, on Facebook, Celebration TV, Instagram, My Celebration TV, Twitter, My Celebration TV, YouTube, Celebration TV. Do not forget that your positive contribution to the wellness of a society you find yourself or the organization you work defines your leadership mind. As an individual who knows what to do and do without expecting to be pushed, has backed these ways to success, be it known today that everything we do, think, feel, and believe either has a positive or negative effect on humanity and our national well-being. Be a part of nation building today. Thank you once again for staying with us in the news desk. I am Akosile Nicholas Walter. Bye for now.
Have you been searching for an